So Russel Brand just absolutely destroyed MSNBC and a lot of other corporations, including Fox News, corporations and news sites and propaganda networks on both sides of politics, just absolutely tearing them apart. But he really went after MSNBC, and he was right in an MSNBC employee's face. I believe his name is John Hillman. Let's check out exactly what Russel Brand said, and you could tell that this guy right here, John Hillman, he's burning up, man. He can't take the fact that Russel Brand is calling out his network for doing exactly what everybody knows that they've been doing, but nobody has the balls to call him out right to his face. And I applaud Russel Brand for being able to have the balls to do it right in his face, and also call out a lot of other people who people are just scared of calling out, like BlackRock, like those other big corporations that kind of just run the world that he'll call out in this video. People just don't have the balls to call him out, man. Not even to their face, just in general, because they're just like scary, dark forces overseeing the entire world. But like I said, let's get into this video of Russel Brand destroying MSNBC.
John, I've not known you long, but I love you already. But I have to say that it's disingenuous to claim that the biases that are exhibited on Fox News are any different from the biases exhibited on MSNBC. It's difficult to suggest that these corporations operate as anything other than mouthpieces for their affiliate owners in BlackRock and Vanguard. And unless we start to embrace, and also, mate, like just spiritually, if I may use that word in your great country, we have to take responsibility for our own perspective. I've been on that MSNBC, mate. It was propagandist nutcrackery on there. I went on a show called Morning Joe. It was absurd the way they carried on.
Good Morning Joe.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what it was. It wasn't morning. There was no one called Joe there. No one could concentrate. They didn't understand the basic tenets of journalism. No one was willing to stick up for genuine American heroes like Edward Snowden. No one was willing to talk about Julian Assange and what he's suffered trying to bring real journalism to the American people. And I
mean, just the way that Russel Brand carries himself, it also brings a lot of weight to what he's saying. Like the way he's able to make people laugh while also going on a monologue about how evil these corporations are, because obviously, you know, Fox News had been called out quite a bit on this show by Bill Maher, you know, not even just on this particular show, but on Bill Maher's show in the past a lot. By John Hillman, by, you know, obviously CNN, MSNBC, all these other networks call out Fox News over and over and over. But it's rare that you see somebody like Russel Brand go on these shows and call out MSNBC or CNN or any of those other networks on the other side right to their face. So the fact that he's able to make the audience laugh, make Bill Maher laugh, while also just absolutely obliterating MSNBC just makes it all that much better and hold a lot more weight.
To sit within the castle of MSNBC throwing rocks at Fox News is ludicrous.
My friend,
make MSNBC better. Make MSNBC great again.
My friend, I would, the moment
quiet them on a territory.
You could tell that one really pissed him off whenever he said make MSNBC great again. That one really got him, and you're about to see it. He got really mad at him.
You can win on Joe.
Russell, darling, the moment that you give me a specific example, an actual example.
Okay, I'll give you one.
Right, just wait.
Now he's about to ask for a specific example of MSNBC showing their bias and lying on the air. Russel Brand is immediately ready to answer, but he will not let Russel Brand answer for a good, 20, 30 seconds. And also the answer that Russel Brand gives, it was a good one. It was a decent one, but it's definitely not the most obvious one. There is a ton of examples that I could list off the top of my head of CNN, MSNBC that Russel Brand could have said in this, in this response. I could list off 10 of them off the top of my head. He gave a good one, but probably not the best one.
Wait. Just
we need a specific example.
How about let me tell you what the specific I'd like to hear of. I'd like to hear a specific example, a provable specific example of an MSNBC correspondent or anchor being on television saying something they knew was false, and we're saying behind the scenes to people, I'm about to go out, and we know that the election wasn't stolen, or something equivalent. But I will go out on television and say the opposite. I will lie.
When's my answer?
Just give me the specific example.
I understand the basic point.
Give me a specific example.
All right.
I'm with you. I think it's a false equivalency, Russell.
It's not. That's your own bias.
It's very obvious that it's not a false equivalency between Fox News and MSNBC. There's nothing different, man. There's nothing different. And Russel Brand really nails that point home. He says it perfectly towards the end of this clip. There's no point in me even trying to explain it, because the way that Russel Brand explains it to John Hillman and Bill Maher is it's so perfect, dude.
It's not about bias. It's a false equivalency because you don't actually know anything about any of these organizations you're talking about. Even on MSNBC once, big fucking deal.
My darling, it was more than enough.
You can't come up with
such a example? Do you want an example?
Yes.
The ludicrous, outrageous criticisms of Joe Rogan around ivermectin, deliberately referring to it as a horse medicine when they know it's an effective medicine.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Rachel
example.
Maddow turning up on the TV saying if you take this vaccine, you're not going to get it when it hadn't been clinically trialed for transmission.
Non-responsive.
You have to listen.
Wait.
Do you think you can improve
response.
America
I
by
think we could all
determinedly
be
and
better.
avowedly condemning Fox News?
So he hit a couple of them pretty well. Obviously, the Joe Rogan ivermectin stuff, that's a given. That's one of the most obvious ones. But I think the most obvious one was obviously the mask stuff. He did hit on the jab part a little bit, but he didn't hit on the mask stuff. That's what I would have went for first, would be the jab and then the mask stuff. But the ivermectin stuff with Joe Rogan wasn't a bad response either. I mean, there's, like I said, I could have listed off 20 different things that MSNBC and CNN had been lying about. Russel Brand chose probably a pretty good one, but he could have chose a better one. That's all I'm saying.
Without acknowledging that you're participating in the same game. Did you not just listen to Bernie Sanders, someone who plainly, legitimately believes in this country and believes it's possible to change, but is bound by corruption, is bound by the lobbying system? Surely it's clear to you, Bill, as one of the great pundits and experts and comic voices, that systemic change is required. Money has to be taken out of politics. We need new political systems that genuinely...
See, this is the part where he starts speaking the truth, right? Obviously, we need big change in politics. We need a big change in our political structure. We need a big change in the system, all this stuff. The only problem with this is I'm completely black-pilled on it. I don't think that this is ever going to happen. Obviously, saying it sounds great, but we don't have the actual power to make this change. And I know everybody's going to be in the comments saying, yes, we do. Like, we the people have all this power. Well, why don't we just do it then? Like, everybody knows that the political system needs to change. Everybody knows that the political, all the politicians out there are ran by money. They're ran by lobbying. Everybody knows this. They're ran by the major corporations of the world, and not even the ones that you know the names of. A lot of them are like shadow, corporations that you don't even know of. They're shadow leaders of the world. And, we all know this, and yet there's nothing we can do to change it. So obviously I agree with Russel Brand that this stuff does need to change, but I'm black-pilled on it in the fact that I just don't think it ever is going to change. But let's continue on.
Represent ordinary Americans so that we can overcome cultural differences, and bickering about which propagandist network is the worst is not going to save a single American life, not improve the life of a single American child, not going to improve America's standing in the world, and the world needs a strong America. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. So you have an obligation, a duty, not to condemn these people.
It's true, man. I mean, there's nothing that I could possibly disagree with. If you could disagree with anything, please let me know in the comments. But there's nothing in that so far that I could possibly disagree with. I haven't watched the entire thing. I've only watched this 4 or 5 minute clips that I've seen on Twitter. But he's right, man. All the true journalists of the world, like at Project Veritas and James O'Keefe, man. All the true journalists that, the Edward Snowdens, the Julian Assanges, all of these people, they just get punished. They get ostracized from society. A lot of people out there are getting debanked. Certain people that I can't even say their names on YouTube. They're getting debanked. They're getting removed off Uber, Airbnb. Like, they can't even access these networks. And it's wild because the propagandists like MSNBC, like Fox News, like CNN, all these other propagandist networks, they're perfectly fine. They even get pushed more by YouTube. They get pushed more by Google. So it is ridiculous, man. I'm glad that Russel Brand's speaking out about it. I hope the change can actually happen. I'm not sure if it can. Let me know in the comments what you think about the whole situation. What do you think about Russel Brand destroying MSNBC, CNN, all the other major corporations, even Fox News? He mentions that they're a propagandist network as well. They're no different, and in my opinion anyway. Let me know in the comments what you think of the whole situation.